Well, Dr. Melgoza, welcome to the Candidate Forum. It appears that your opposing candidates have not been able to make it tonight. So what we would like to do is, since the league has a no empty chair candidate policy, what we will do is allow you 3 minutes to make an introductory statement to the audience, but we will not pose any questions. Does that sound fair?
That's fair. With all honesty, I believe all three of us are a function up here in Gonzales, Texas, and so I kind of snuck out of the of the meeting, and I'm due to go back kind of quickly. So that's understandable. Everything is overlapping here at the end, so we'll do our best. We'll do our best.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there are a number of candidates in other formats who have done kind of the same thing, kind of snuck out. That's why we thought this would be a good way to do it. Take a little bit of time.
I totally agree.
All right. So our timekeeper is he on your screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Super.
I'll keep it short, sweet.
He will give you up to 3 minutes. So thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Melgoza.
We appreciate it. Again, I guess introduction is that I am Dr. Victor Melgoza. I am a family medicine physician or doctor that has practiced in Corpus Christi for the past or over 20 years. I started with the residency program here at Memorial, and after graduating from Memorial, I did some urgent care medicine and then opened my own private office, of which I had for approximately 13 years. With it, I obviously did the hiring, the firing, and everything else that's included in running a business on my own. Based on due to the changes in medicine, new regulations, new requirements, need for increased investment, I decided to become an employee, and I joined the Veterans Administration in working as a compensation and pension physician. I was the first one for the newly formed Texas Coastal Bend Veterans Administration Clinic of South Texas, which included Laredo, Harlingen, McAllen, and Corpus Christi. I was also the first compensation and pension physician for that entity. I left the VA because there did not appear to be an appropriate function for me at that time, and it did not appear anybody was really interested in that. So I went again into private practice. I also worked at various other institutions, and also, again, in the last 4 years, at the request of one of my colleagues, I returned to the Veterans Administration to kind of help out with the medical aspect of it, and was there for approximately 4 years. I actually retired from the VA. However, what caused me to jump into this, and I honestly will say that I kind of jumped into it with both feet first, was because of the situation that's going on right now in Washington. It appears to be in total chaos, and with the insurrection of the January the 6th, it just kind of was the tipping point for me to go ahead and jump into this. So what I would try to do is change the environment in Washington and hopefully make it a more cohesive organization to work better for the American public.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Dr. Melgoza. We really appreciate it. We could not do it without you. All right.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening, and thank you for having me.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, Mr. Tristan, we're doing this a little bit out of order today, but that's fine. Welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm Paula Brighton. We've chatted before. We have the League of Women Voters has a no empty seat policy. So when there's only one candidate available, then they are afforded 3 minutes to do an introductory statement, but no questions are posed. Will that work for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so our timekeeper is over here, and can you see him on your screen? You may need to scroll across.
Let's see. Yeah, stop out.
Okay,
time.
super. Okay, so he will let you know in time increments and when your time is up at 3 minutes. So please let us know all about Mr. Tristan.
Hey, everybody. My name is Anthony Tristan. I am running for District 20 out of Nueces County. Now, the League of Women Voters, I think what comes to mind is that my travels throughout the counties, that I went and I did ask, young ladies that if they voted. And as I went through the counties, I got a resounding no from these younger ladies that they did not participate in the voting process. Or they said that it didn't affect them, that it's not like an issue for them. Like I guess everything must be good. And so I think overall, big picture, that's one of my really driving forces is always to keep getting the votes out. But let's bring in those women, those young women or older women that maybe feel disenfranchised or just feel like it's not important or they're not important. And it goes both ways too. There's others that feel like that in general, but that is an important issue. We unfortunately have a lot of men in Congress and in other countries in part of government that are just hungry for money, hungry for power, and it costs us in the long run. And so I want to bring in more women into those rooms to be a sane voice where it's actually not about money and power. It's about something bigger than us, something more important. And then of course, I think it comes if we start at the very bottom. We have a lot of powerful women already in Congress, in the Senate, in the US House. I think there's more numbers than ever, but that's still not enough. I think with the women voters, we always need to keep pursuing them, keep bringing them into the fold, keep getting them in those positions at the district level, no matter where they're at, to be a voice. And I think that's one of my most motivating things about the election process. It's like, yes, I'm running for District 27, and that's something that is important to a lot of people. In fact, I'm in Gonzales County right now, and I was early speaking with people. I think it's just a really big deal to bring those women into the fold to take those other seats, because I feel like they don't maybe think that they're important, or again, that they have no place in the system. So I think to y'all and to myself, for my position, I want to engage them. I want to bring them in. I want them to be a part of the process. And I think that will bear fruit and just make for a better overall community, state, as far as, again, the US, and it leads an example all the other countries.
All right. Thank you so much for that statement. And we really appreciate you joining us. We couldn't do this forum without you all. So thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule and sharing the screen with us.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you, ladies. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Hello, candidates. I'm Paula Brighton. I'm the Vice President for Voter Services at the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi. And joining us tonight are the candidates, the Democratic candidates for Texas State Senate District 27. So what we're going to do is each of you will have 2 minutes to do an opening statement, and then we'll go around and answer 3 questions. We'll take turns, and then we'll have a 1-minute closing statement. So our second group of candidates in ballot order includes Ms. Morgan Lamantia, Mr. Alex Dominguez, Ms. Sarah Stapleton Barrera, and Mr. Solomon Torres. Okay, please make sure that you are unmuted and your video is all on, so that's good. Okay, let's begin opening statements. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, our timekeeper will let you know as the time, and that's the most important one. When he puts up the stop sign, it's time to bring that statement to a close. So let's begin with an opening statement from Ms. Lamantia. 2 minutes, please.
Hi, thank you so much for having me and having us all here today. I really appreciate the opportunity. So my name is Morgan Lamantia, and I'm running for State Senate District 27. I'm running because I think it's time for the next generation of leadership to pick up the torch. And because there's so much to love about this district, but it has some of its challenges like healthcare, education, and economic development. We need more higher paying jobs that help people in our communities support their strong families and raise them out of poverty. My story is a typical South Texas story. My grandfather came down here at 17 without graduating high school to work on the farms. And even though he didn't graduate high school, he believed that education was the great equalizer. He believed how important education was and wanted to make sure that his kids and his grandkids had the ability to go get that higher education. But he took that even a step further, and he wanted to help the community as well. So 20 years ago, he started a scholarship program that's helped us put college within reach for over 17,000 students. And I would love to continue that legacy and build education for everyone in this community, but also help with economic development and healthcare, make it more accessible and affordable. Big part of that is working with other people, taking that collaborative and regional approach, making sure that we work together to help support and keep our district and our area strong. I'm a lawyer and a businesswoman. I know what it takes to make payroll for employees, and that's payroll for employees with healthcare. When I talk about healthcare, I'm not talking theoretical. I have hands-on experience dealing with our broken healthcare system. We saw our employees struggling with surprise billing and transparency issues and these additional costs, and we couldn't just sit by and let it happen. So we got in front of the system, we negotiated programs to help alleviate those concerns and to help our employees manage the chronic diseases at no additional cost to them. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope I can earn your support and your vote.
Thank you very much. Next, Mr. Dominguez.
Hi, good evening. Thanks so much for having us. I'm Alex Dominguez. I'm the state representative for District 37, which is anchored in South Texas, primarily in the city of Brownsville. I've been now the state rep for 4 years. Numerous special sessions this past year saw me in Austin for about 10 months out of the year. And we fought the critical issues that I think matter to a lot of people. We talked about reproductive freedoms. We talked about voting rights. And we fought very hard against those in the other party. We did that times. We had to stand up for others and help them every chance that we get. Prior to being a state representative, I was a county commissioner. So I'm used to working with communities to try to solve those problems that help people. But before that, before being an attorney, I have been a public school teacher. I grew up in a household where my parents only finished the 4th and the 6th grade respectively. I was a first generation high school graduate, and education was the key. Of the 10 kids in my family, 7 of us, including me, have been public school teachers. The reason why we do this is we wanted to give back. We wanted to make sure that those that came from a similar background, working class background, where we had to take out student loans, get part-time jobs, and try to get some scholarships, we want to make sure that we gave back, much like public education has given to us. The reason why I'm running for the Senate is because I believe District 27 needs someone with experience, somebody who'll be ready on day one. I'm that person. I'm used to working with both sides now. I've been able to pass a number of bills. My hard work was recognized this past session where I was named the Vice Chair of Environmental Regulations and the Vice Chair of Local and Consent Calendars, the only member of the entire 150 member House of Representatives to have 2 vice chairmanships. Additionally, I help your community by sitting on the House Appropriations Committee to make sure that all of South Texans get their fair share. And I'll continue to do that in the state Senate with your help. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We really appreciate that statement. And Ms. Stapleton Barrera, your opening statement.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I'm really happy to be here. My name is Sarah Stapleton Barretta, and I am from Brownsville, Texas, born and raised. I am an attorney, practice mostly constitutional criminal law. I am a mother of 3 children, and I am the founder of South Texans for Term Limits. Now, I'll tell you a little story. Back in 2020, I was just a normal day attorney practicing, mostly for indigent clients and those that couldn't afford an attorney. And I did some self-reflecting and looking around and researching, and I stumbled upon our current senator at the time, and it was Senator Lucio, had been representing us for about 30 years. And as I was researching what he had done and the way that he had voted in his tenure, I was shocked and astounded as to what I found in that research. And once I had this information, I took a good look around me and did some soul searching and realized that I had to make a choice. And the choice was to either just sit back and continue to be railroaded or to run for office. And at the time, everyone thought I was a little bit crazy because I, didn't have the money that he had. He ended up outspending me 13-1. Hadn't been there for 30 years like he had. But we began this movement here in South Texas, and it was one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen. We had young people, we had women, we had environmentalists, we had all these different kind of groups come out and power behind me. We had national endorsements from civil rights groups and state endorsements from women's groups, and it was really this huge movement that took place. And what it did is it showed me at that point in my life, people are ready. Unfortunately, Senator Lucio edged us out by a very small margin in 2020. But after that race, I had women, mostly young women, approach me and say, hey, we watched that race. And because of what we saw, I'm running for school board. We watched that race. And because of what we saw, I'm running for.
Thank you, Ms. Stapleton Barrera. Thank you for that statement.
I appreciate it.
All right. Mr. Torres. You have 2 minutes, please, to make your opening statement.
Very good. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity to meet you through this means. I am from Harlingen, Texas, a father of 4 and 4 kids that attend public school. And I also am married to Yvette, who is a policy professional for the local medical school here in the Rio Grande Valley. And I just wanted to share with you a little bit about my motivation for running and also what I intend to accomplish if elected as a senator for District 27. My motivation, quite frankly, is that we could be doing a lot better in Texas in many areas of how we measure how well the government is taking care of the population needs. We have, for example, in public health, we have in the Rio Grande Valley a diabetes rate of 25%, which is double for the state of Texas, which is about 12 or 13%. The Coastal Bend has a similar problem with diabetes. And I mention this because COVID is still on everybody's minds, and it should be, because we're not out of it yet. And if we don't do a better job of preparing our population by improving the health profile, we're going to be spinning our wheels in a lot of different arenas, including education, if our kids are not healthy, or our workforce. If our workforce doesn't get healthier, we're going to be struggling to recruit even more companies to the Coastal Bend and to the Valley. I also believe that the assets that we have in the region, the ports principally, but also our water resources, we really need to prepare for any kind of disasters that may occur, as did a year ago with the freeze, where if we do not properly prepare for disasters and threaten our water sources.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. Appreciate your statement. Okay, we'll go on to the question part of this evening. And these are mostly getting to know you type questions. So we'll start with the first one, and it goes first to Mr. Dominguez. Which public servants, past or present, serve as your role models and why? Oh, and please remember to unmute yourself.
Sorry. I'm actually a big fan of Ann Richards. And I'll tell you the moment that I think really drove it home for me. I remember I must have been in 6th grade at the time, but I remember reading an article that showed she was at a gala, an event, and she approached her Republican opponent, and she reached out her hand to be collegial and respectful, and he refused to shake her hand. And she was entirely graceful, despite that offhand, disrespectful, dismissive action by her opponent. And that showed me that's what a good candidate should be doing, because when this election is over, we do need to come together. We need to reach across the aisle and work with the other sides. Never should we be disrespectful with each other. And we need to understand that we may not always agree on things. We need to rise above that. And no matter what the other side can do, how much money they have, always believe in yourself, because if you do that, I think the people will see that and you'll be successful.
Thank you. Mr. Torres, your turn next. Role models in public service.
I'll point you to one of them is certainly Henry Cisneros, the former mayor of San Antonio. He comes to mind because he was a public policy nerd like me, me being a graduate of the LBJ school. He also raised Texas's image nationally and worldwide, which I thought was a big contribution to how people perceive Texas. In this case, he was a Mexican American from San Antonio who helped do who did a fantastic job of running a city in a very impressive way. The other one was one of my former professors at the LBJ school, former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. She was one of my professors and mentors who really instilled in me an appreciation for the struggle for civil rights, which is not a past or a struggle. It's a current struggle, and we're going to be working a lot in different arenas to equalize opportunities because of the segregation and different discrimination issues that we've all had to deal with in different communities.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ms. Lamantia?
Yes, so I believe the person I look up to the most is Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison. She is a Republican, but she's a woman who went to law school in Texas, graduated from UT Austin. And when she graduated, she wasn't able to find a job with a law firm. They didn't want to hire a woman. So she got a job as a newscaster and really started to get to know the issues and get to know the state of Texas. And she was able to propel that education and that experience into a representative position, into politics. And in the national legislature, she was able to bring people together. She reached across the aisle. She did what was best for Texas. She made decisions based on the facts and based on the needs of those she represented. She was an amazing politician, and she continues to be. She's from a small town in Texas and came through great obstacles to reach great heights and did so much for our state.
Thank you so much. Okay, Ms. Stapleton Barretta.
So I am a huge fan of Elizabeth Warren and really wish she would have gained better traction at the last election. If you haven't looked at her website and haven't looked at her plans, you need to look at them because they are mind-blowing, so well thought out, brilliant plans. And she's just like a middle-class hometown Oklahoma girl. I liked everything about her. And I love the fact that she's a trailblazer and was trying to do something that hadn't been done, took a lot of, criticism, didn't care, and just, pushed forward. Plus, how can we not like somebody that would enter her stage to work in 9 to 5 from Dolly Parton? You gotta love her.
All right, thank you very much. And Ms. Stapleton Barrera, we'll keep you up you'll be first for the next one. So, second question. Part of the League's mission is to educate voters. Who or what are some of your trusted sources of information and why?
Oh man, I think the best sources of information are directly to people. If you go to outside sources or third parties or heads of organizations, then you may get some mixed sort of mixed reviews. But if you go directly to the people that have their boots on the ground, are in the middle of the issues. I was just on a group with teachers the other day, and their feelings were, well, the administration doesn't hear us. So if you want to hear about what teachers want, you go directly to the source. That's the only way to do it. Get off the internet and talk to real people.
Thank you very much. Ms. Lamantia?
So I'm going to have to second what Sarah said. Really, the sources, the best trusted ones are the ones that are living those issues day to day. But at the same time, sometimes you don't have the opportunity or the option or the time to talk to everyone in those situations with those facts and dealing with those day-to-day issues. So if you do need to speak with those organizations that represent them, the ones that have more information, speaking with as many people as possible so that we understand and get every aspect of it. What we're talking about is just making sure we have the truth, we have the facts and the data, and making, real common sense analysis of that information. And whenever you hear a story or get in data or information or read an article, as they say, trust but verify. And so I think a lot of that is spending time doing your research, talking to people on the ground, talking to experts in those fields, talking to the scientists and the professors in those areas. And that's how I think the facts are. Yeah.
Super. Thank you so much. Mr. Torres?
My two sources of information are small business owners like myself. I own my consulting firm in Harlingen, and I love talking to people that have 5 employees, 1 employee, no employee, 25 employees. These are the people that have tell me how trends are occurring in our local communities as far as vacancy rates, where people are buying what, the supply situation for different industries. Those to me are my experts in terms of local business trends. The other one is our senior citizens, like my mother-in-law who lives with us and takes care of our kids. She deals with a lot of healthcare issues as do women or men who are in their 70s, and they offer incredible insight in how inefficient and how ineffective or effective our healthcare system is. So I would point to those as my principal sources of information.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dominguez?
I'm a big fan of National Public Radio. So I listen to them every morning, listening to Up First. If possible, I watch All Things Considered or listen to All Things Considered on the way home. And when I actually have time to sit down in front of either my iPad or my computer screen, I'm typically reading the Texas Tribune. They're pretty in tune with the political scene in and out of Austin, including how the effects of any federal regulations are going to be affecting us in South Texas. So I think it's very important to actually get facts. And when we have quality journalists who are doing their research, getting footnotes, getting research done, that gives me a lot of peace of mind when I can take that information and start to formulate legislation. Having been a policymaker, I know it's very important to do your research ahead of time so that you're actually filing a bill that's going to be impactful. We trust our journalists to continue to talk to people, ask them, people have the boots on the ground throughout this entire state, because I can't drive all 254 counties. I do need to rely on them. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Mr. Torres, you're going to be first on this next question. It's a little bit longer. So, Texas gained population over the last decade. However, COVID-19 showed young people they could live and work anywhere in the world with good internet access. What legislation would you propose or support that would entice young people to put down roots and raise families in Senate District 27?
We are very fond of giving property tax breaks for large corporations in order to encourage them to come here. We did it with SpaceX here. We do it with other companies up and down in the Rio Grande Valley. You all do it in the Coastal Bend. But we need to do some creative tax policy to encourage reinvesting in the home communities where they come from, whether it's ad valorem tax breaks for young professionals for a period of time to encourage them to plant roots and let their property value grow until they're able to pay more in taxes, to potentially even incentivizing purchases of property so that they come here and not just go to the rural urban areas of Austin, Houston, and San Antonio. We need them to come to Cleburne County, Willacy County, to San Patricio County. We need them to come to where they come from. And ad valorem tax abatement or incentives that would be unique to them would be my my proposal.
Thank you so much. Ms. Stapleton Barrera.
Yeah, I think that the way that we do it is we implement green jobs, right? We're in this really unique position because of our landscape here in District 27. The amount of coastal land that we have, the amount of, stretches of open land that we have. We could literally put shovel to dirt and have thousands of jobs, good paying, high quality jobs that afford people a nice living to where they don't have to travel outside the district right now. And on top of it, we would be doing something that it betters our environment for the generations to come, create sustainability. So to me, it's a no-brainer. We go with the green jobs, and we start now.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dominguez.
So I think Texas right now averages about 1,000 new Texans every day. So there's not a lot that we need to do to attract people to come to Texas, but I would like to point out something that both your community up in the northern part of the district and mine in the southern part probably share. And that's a lot of the brain drain problem, kids growing up in our local high schools, but moving away for a big city life or greater opportunities. What I found in speaking to some of the folks back home is we have a lot of new computer tech folks, data analysts that work for companies out of state, but live at home. Thankfully, with passing HB 5 this past year, we have increased the availability of broadband throughout this entire state. The rollout is still going to take quite a bit of time, but by increasing access to high-speed internet, we can now draw people from those large cities, Houston, Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, get our kids back home so they can be a little bit closer to mom and dad and grandpa and grandma, and bring them home, give them those incentives so they can start reinvesting in the community and we get all those really nice things to have in the big cities without the big city life.
Thank you so much. Ms. Lamantia.
Yes, so I think a big part of bringing people down here, but also having people stay here once they've graduated high school, making sure we have the jobs available to them, having those businesses here. We're bringing in businesses to B County and to Clayburgh as well, and Southern Nueces County. And so those businesses are coming because District 27 is the future of Texas. We're doing things here and bringing in industries here that the rest of the state wishes they were bringing in, whether that's green energy, oil and gas, space exploration, it's all happening in this district. But really to keep people here and make sure that we can bring in more people and convince them to live here, it's about improving our communities as well, making sure that we have the healthcare and the resources for them and their families, making sure we have the education so that they feel comfortable raising their families here and have the ability to help them create and keep strong families in these areas. Because all throughout this district, it is a small, close-knit community where everyone feels like family, and we just need to promote that throughout the state. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, and Ms. Lamantia, you're first up for your 1-minute closing statement.
So I think laws are best made when we take different perspectives, and we need other perspectives. And most laws currently were made with male committee chairs. Without diversity, laws are out of balance. We need to make sure we have that diversity in our state representatives and state legislatures. And, as I travel and talk with neighbors across our community, they are frustrated with politics, the gridlocks, and the arguing. They want to see things get done. And that's what my campaign brings. I know what it takes to work in the private sector, to make payroll with 1,200 employees, and it's 1,200 employees with healthcare. When I talk about healthcare, it's not theoretical, hands-on experience, making sure that we can solve those problems and dealing with supply chain issues, whether that's PPE for our employees or getting products that we need from other countries. So I hope that I have the opportunity to earn your support and your vote to be able to go up to Austin and fight for this district, because we truly are the future of Texas.
Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Dominguez.
I'm a husband and I'm a father, and that keeps me grounded as a policymaker. Having spent 4 years now in Austin, I know what it takes to hit the ground running and get things done. I think what we need to be looking at for the senator for Senate District 27 is somebody who not only has the proven experience, but more importantly, the proven dedication to help those in need. I've been a public servant now for over 8 years. And the reason why I do this is because I passionately care for working class people, people who have no voice, people who have been forgotten. And that's why I'm not afraid to fight on the floor, to work behind the scenes to try to get things done. And more importantly, when all options end, to stand up and really fight for people. I have 100% voting record with Planned Parenthood because I believe that government should stay out of our bedrooms. Our decisions that we make with our bodies should be between ourselves and our medical professionals. I care passionately for people that want to make more of themselves because I think with my help, we can all make this a much better place.
Thank you so much. Ms. Stapleton Barretta?
I am a huge believer that until we can clean up government and ethics, put ethics in our government, nothing's going to change. I am a firm believer that we need term limits. We need to close these loopholes that allow politicians to get rich off the constituents, and we to implement transparency so we know what our politicians are doing, but more importantly, who is lining our politicians' pockets. So I have vowed to never take corporate PAC money, and nobody holds my purse strings. So what I would implore you to do is to do your research and look at the candidates, see who holds everybody's purse strings, where they give money and where they get money, and that'll give you a sure shape of where allegiances lie. I appreciate you having me here today.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Torres?
In offering 27 years of professional work in public policy and legislation, I have credentials that would make me an excellent senator. I also want to make sure you know I've worked with projects in both rural and urban communities. That's important because this district is very varied in the kinds of needs that are in the north versus the south and in the middle. So I'm very comfortable looking for resources, working with local leaders in order to make concepts turn into realities, whether it's with public funds or with connecting with resources at the state government or the federal government. So I ask you for your vote, ask you for your support. Please check me out at torresfortexas.com to review my platform and my issue priorities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, candidates for Texas State Senate District 27, for participating in this forum. Good night, and we will see you at the ballot box. Okay, super. Hello, candidates. So our next group of candidates are the candidates for District Judge, 117th Judicial District. And in ballot order, they are Ms. Selina Lopez Leon and Mr. Rene C. Flores. Candidates, you will have 2 minutes to do an opening statement, then we'll answer 3 questions at a minute each, and a 1-minute closing statement. And can you see our timekeeper on your screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. So he will let you know where you are in the time. Okay, so let's begin with the opening statement from Ms. Lopez Leon.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Selina Lopez Leon. I am a judicial candidate for the 117th District Court on the Democratic ballot. I have a strong passion for justice and a heart for public service, which have inspired me to run for this position. I am qualified. I've handled over 1,000 cases, dozens of trials, both jury and bench trials, including both civil and criminal law, which is very important because I have had the actual experience doing cases that a district court judge would actually preside over. I also have experience in PI cases, which is personal injury, civil forfeitures, one that went all the way up to the Texas Supreme Court. Also experience in expunctions and all other kinds of civil proceedings that go in front of district court as well. I also have appellate experience writing over 20 appeals and arguing the 13th Court of Appeals multiple times, as well as the Texas Supreme Court. I'm a leader by nature. I have been a
past president of the Criminal Bar Association here in the Coastal Bend, selected as one of 20 women from across the nation for the HNBA Latina Leadership Program, and also selected as a Texas Bar Foundation Fellow for my contribution to the legal community. Most of all, I fight very hard for my clients because I'm passionate about the community and helping people achieve justice. I hope to be able to do that now on a broader scale as your next 117th District Court Judge.
Thank you so much. Mr. Flores, your opening statement.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Rene C. Flores, and I'm running for the 117th District Court, a countywide position, because I believe I have the best experience and background to succeed Judge Sandra Watts. Much like the court, I practice predominantly in criminal matters, but I also do some family law and general civil litigation, which the court also handles. I have always wanted to serve my community in the capacity that I saw that would be best. As an attorney of 30 years, I feel best suited to serve my community in this capacity. When I learned that Judge Sandra Watts was retiring, I saw it as a rare opportunity to step up and try to fill the shoes of a great judge. My background is that I am a lifelong resident of Corpus Christi, a graduate of Princeton University and the University of California at Berkeley Law School, and a former chief of litigation at the Nueces County Attorney's Office, and a former assistant federal public defender. I have been involved in my community by leading an effort to build the new West Oso High School, feeding the homeless, sponsoring and participating in monthly beach cleanups, sponsoring the Bay Jamming concert series, and as president of the criminal defense section of the Bar Association and serving on the board of directors of the bar. My involvement in the community is based on the fact that I love and care for my community, which I think is essential to being a good judge. I hope that by the end of this forum, I can convince you that you should vote for me as your next 117th District Court Judge. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Flores, we'll start the questions and with you first. Who are your judicial role models and why?
I'm going to start first of all with Judge Sandra Watts, who now sits on the bench in the 117th District Court. I believe she's fair. I believe she's efficient, and I believe she seeks justice. And her demeanor is excellent. She has the tolerance, the judicial demeanor. And so I do find her as a great role model to succeed and to rely upon as a mentor if I should be lucky enough to have her position. In addition to that, there are others. I think Judge Carlos Valdez is a fine example. I have known Judge Valdez since before he was, since before he was anything, since he was, before he was even county attorney. He grew up in my neighborhood on the west side. And so I appreciate his demeanor and also his judicial capacity in dealing with participants.
Okay.
I believe.
Thank you so much, Mr. Flores. Ms. Lopez Leon.
Looking at people who have influenced me in the judicial capacity, I would have to say Judge Sotomayor, who is on the Supreme Court. I had the opportunity to actually meet her the same year that she got confirmed as a justice when she came to my law school to come and talk and give a presentation. One of the reasons why I'm so inspired by her and proud of her, if I could say that, is that she is the first woman of color and the first Latina woman on the Texas Supreme Court. And she came from humble beginnings. She didn't come from a lineage of attorneys, didn't have money, but she used the opportunities she had to succeed and be where she is. I also have a deep admiration to all justices who rule based on fairness and justice, which is what a judge should do, and most do and have done in my experience, especially here locally, and not based on self-serving interests or politics.
Thank you so much. Okay, and we'll start with you, Ms. Lopez Leon, for the next question. Part of the League's mission is to educate voters. Who or what are some of your trusted sources of information and why?
Well, to start, the League of Women Voters is a great place to go to, especially the work that this group does to disseminate information with regard to everybody that's running with no particular bias towards one person or the other. I think is fantastic. I wholeheartedly agree that we need to educate everybody, and people need to make educated choices. They need to know who they're voting for, not just read down the ballot and see who's of what party or what somebody's name is, or if they're male versus female. They need to know their candidates and get the proper information. Now we have social media and all kinds of places online to receive and disseminate information. However, it's somewhat tricky if you're reading from particular individuals or whatnot. But when it comes from a group such as the League of Women Voters, we all know that's information that we can count on, and that's objective.
Thank you so much. Mr. Flores?
Yes, I also agree the League of Women Voters. I've been a lifelong fan of the League. And in fact, I joined them a few years ago. I don't believe I'm a member at this time, but I've admired the way they disseminate information through their publication and through these forums. In addition to that, the candidates themselves, I know me and my opponent have participated in many forums and have spoke in front of many groups. And I think that's important that we get out there and speak to the people and inform them about what we're about. Being active and publishing literature and just getting the word out through the media, however possible. And social media is certainly important to getting the word out. Of course, getting the word out to regular media is also important when possible. And also just speaking to other community groups when necessary. The Friday morning group, the coffee club, comentarios, all these groups are important. All these shows are important to get on and give out the information necessary for people to make.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Mr. Flores, you'll be first up for the last question. In your opinion, what is the central goal of sentencing in criminal cases? Please explain.
Well, that's an excellent question. You know, I do a lot of federal practice, and we always rely on Section 3553, which is a guide, I think, for not only federal courts, but also state district courts in achieving justice. That is, first, to be a deterrent for committing further criminal acts, for even rehabilitation, although we don't see it as much as we used to. Basically, have the punishment fit the crime. And there are a number of other factors. For example, it depends on the crime too. When we have drug crimes, many of them should involve more treatment than punishment, at least initially. Of course, there are consequences for not properly following up on your treatment, and that's why we have jail. So it depends on the circumstances, but there should be an effort to rehabilitate, especially the young people who only learned criminality by going to prison. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Lopez Leon?
Thank you. So the whole purpose of sentencing is to achieve justice. That may be, in particular situations, result in somebody going to prison. That may result in somebody going and getting treatment, somebody being on probation, somebody getting mental health treatment or drug. But justice is the goal. And when you're deciding a sentence, it's not just the individual that's being sentenced that you have to consider, but it's the community, the safety of the community, as well as if there's any victim involved. The justice system doesn't pertain to just the person that's in front of you that's being sentenced. It pertains to all. And that's very important as a judge. You have to consider justice for the entire community because that's the people that you're serving.
Thank you so much. All right, concluding statements. Ms. Lopez Leon, you're up.
Thank you. So in deciding on which candidate to choose or who to vote for to be your next 117th District Court judge, I would hope that you all consider the information that we've put forward here today and the fact that I'm qualified for this position based on my experiences, but also that attorneys and litigants and individuals, whether represented by attorneys or not, that are in the courtroom, they're going to want a judge that's experienced, that knows what they're doing. Also, somebody who has a heart and passion to do the job and serve the people. I'm from Corpus Christi. I'm from this community. It's got to be somebody that has patience, treats others with dignity and respect. And that's what I intend to do, whether you're a lawyer or not. I'm going to treat everybody the same. So I hope that everybody would consider my qualifications, my leadership nature, and my heart in deciding and choose to vote me as your next 117th District Court Judge.
Thank you so much. Mr. Flores?
Thank you. In closing, I would like to say that you have a clear choice in the Democratic Party primary. My 30 years of experience in criminal, family, and civil litigation will be used to ensure that the cases in the Nueces County 117th District Court move along expeditiously, and that most of all, justice will be done. I will treat every person that comes before me with dignity and respect, and I would expect all attorneys and the parties in the courtroom to do the same. As a lifelong resident of Corpus Christi who has been involved in my community since I started my professional career and who has strived to be the best lawyer possible in the interest of justice, I feel that I am best suited to serve as your next Nueces County 117th District Court Judge. Thank you for your time and attention, and I ask that you vote for me in the Democratic Party starting next week during early voting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, candidates, for District Judge 117th Judicial District, for participating in tonight's forum. Good evening, and we will see you at the ballot box.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Super. All right. So for group 4, in ballot order, we have Melissa Mel Madrigal and Cassie Bonilla, who are candidates for County Court number 1. So let's make sure that when you're talking, you're unmuted and your video is on. Ladies, you'll have 2 minutes to do an opening statement, and then we'll take turns answering 3 questions, and then a 1-minute closing statement. So Ms. Madrigal, beginning opening statement.
Okay. Hi. First, I want to thank the League of Women's Voters for putting on the forum. My name is Judge Melissa Madrigal. I'm currently the Nueces County Magistrate Court Judge. I'm running for County Court number 1. And I'm here because I think I'm the best candidate to take that court over after Judge Robert Vargas retires. I have a substantial amount of judicial experience. I've been the Nueces County Magistrate Court Judge for close to about 9-10 years. I was previously a prosecutor, and I've been a municipal court judge. I handle the cases assigned to Judge Vargas' court now. I've been his court master for mental health hearings. I handle probate, and those are the jurisdictions of the court, as well as civil law. I attend the Board of Judges meetings. I am appointed to be your Nueces County Magistrate Court Judge by the Board of Judges. I go to the meetings every month. I am familiar with the judges. I have relationships. I am also attending the jail population meetings to help reduce the jail population. I also practice, I have a private practice where I defend people. I have a wide variety of experience. I've been an attorney for 21 years. I believe that my court will be run with integrity, with independence, and efficiently. I have the utmost respect for people's rights, but we do have to get cases back on track. We are going to have a significant backlog due to the COVID pandemic, and I think that my experience will allow me to get the cases set, get them heard, and start disposing of cases. And that's why I'm asking for your vote today.
Thank you so much. Ms. Bonilla?
Hi there. My name is Cassie Bonilla. I am a wife, a mother of 3, and a full-time attorney. I've worked as an attorney for the past 9 years. I was born and raised in the Rio Grande Valley. I was raised by a single mother and born into a family full of public servants. My mother went to work all day long and she went to school at night, so she was able to instill in us a really great work ethic. I graduated high school at 16, college at 20, and became a licensed attorney at the age of 23. I began my career in private practice where I handled criminal defense, personal injury, and family law in multiple counties. In January 2015, I began working with the Nueces County District Attorney's Office, where I was a prosecutor for 6 years. I started in misdemeanor intake and worked my way up to becoming a felony prosecutor. And for the last 4 years, I was exclusively working as the chief juvenile prosecutor, and I handled the guardianship matters on behalf of the state. After my time at the DA's office, I began working with the Texas Health and Human Services Commission, where I am still employed today. And I work as an associate attorney where I handle the probate and guardianship matters on behalf of the state from San Antonio down to the Rio Grande Valley in 30 plus counties. I have served my community in many different organizations and boards over the years, including the Corpus Christi Young Lawyers Association, the Corpus Christi Education Foundation, and CASA of the Coastal Bend. I was an award recipient in 2021 of Corpus Christi Under 40. I have practiced law in every area that this court has jurisdiction over. I feel confident in my experience and abilities to preside over this court. I believe every person in every case should be treated with respect and fairness while ensuring that justice is served. I am committed to continuing the great work of Judge Vargas, and I hope to be your next judge of County Court 1. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Ms. Bonilla, you'll be first up for the first question. Who are your judicial role models and why?
I really respect Judge Timothy McCoy. He's done a fantastic job there in County Court 5. He's really been a mentor to me as I was his prosecutor for nearly 4 years. So I just really respect the work that he's done in that court and the work that he's done with children in general. I also really respect Judge Deanne Galvan. I was a prosecutor in her court as well. She's efficient, she gets things done, and she's not afraid to help people out. I know as a prosecutor in her court, she kind of took me under her wing and kind of showed me the ropes of how things go. As she does with all attorneys in her court, she's very respectful, and I aspire to be like them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Madrigal?
Yes, ma'am. I guess my judicial role models have always been, the first judge of County Court number 5, Judge Carl Lewis. And then I would go to Judge Sandra Watts, who's been my mentor judge. She has one of the most efficient and well-run courts in Nueces County. She started the first divert court here in Nueces County to try to help people with drug problems. And I think her judicial demeanor is one of excellence in her 117th District Court. Also, Judge Nelva Gonzalez Ramos, who's the United States Federal Court judge in the federal courts. She taught me a lot when I first became a magistrate, and it's about how to treat people from the bench, your judicial demeanor. I'm a proven commodity with my judicial demeanor. People know that I treat them with respect, courtesy, and I follow the law. And I think that's what I'll bring to County Court number 1.
Thank you so much. And you're up first for the next question. Part of the League's mission is to educate voters. Who or what are some of your trusted sources of information and why?
I guess I always look to the League's voter guide is one of probably the best source. And then I try to go just by reading about the person's background. If they're in the judicial field, you know them, you know what their work is like, what their ethics are like. And I think that's the best guide of all. But then I like to read up if they've written articles, if they've done judicial seminars or CLE seminars, and you get to know who they are, and just do your research. If there's research, I'd say the Caller Times, other local magazines, and just try to get as much information as possible to make a good decision, a good informed decision.
Thank you so much. Ms. Bonilla?
Yes, like Judge Madrigal, I too like to read up on my own. I like to do research on the candidates that are on any ballot. If they're on a ballot, of course, they've taken the next step to kind of step up and serve their community. And I respect that. I respect people who do this. And I really just kind of look into them to see why I should vote for them, what kind of experience they'll bring to the table, and how they can better serve our community. Because that's what it's about, is, you know, having people who are really there to serve our community and not themselves. So I think that, you know, just looking into the people, reading up on them, researching them yourselves, and kind of just seeing what kind of person they are, what they bring to the table, I think that's helpful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you're up for our final question. In your opinion, what is the central goal of sentencing in criminal cases? Please explain.
In sentencing, the criminal system, it is a punitive system. So we do have to hold people accountable for their actions. At the same time, this is a misdemeanor court. That does not mean that these cases are light, but I will say they are misdemeanor cases. So we should be helping people. We should be rehabilitating them, almost in a sense, to not reoffend. However, we need to do it in a way that's punitive to help them understand that their actions are wrong and their actions will have consequences. Because ultimately, we need to keep our communities safe. We need to have a safe environment for all people. And doing that with a punitive measure, but also keeping in mind that we are trying to help people from reoffending, I believe is the key to helping people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Madrigal?
I think the purpose of sentencing it's a difficult philosophical situation for each person. I think that it's very difficult to strike a balance between holding somebody accountable and trying to help somebody change their life. I remember the first time, because I was sitting for a district court, that I had to send somebody to prison. I remember sentencing and my voice was cracking because I understood the magnitude of the decision I was making and how it was affecting somebody's life. So striking that balance is something I do every day now in assessing a case and recommending a bond or setting a bond or doing a disposition. And I think the purpose is not only to keep our community safe, but also to try to rehabilitate it so that the person, productive member of our society. It's important. We can't just send everybody to prison. We have to try to help people and help them reestablish their lives.
Thank you so much. So now we're at the concluding statements portion. Ms. Madrigal, you're up first.
All right. Well, first, I want to thank everybody for their time. I am Judge Melissa Madrigal. I am your Nueces County Magistrate Court Judge. I have a significant amount of judicial experience. I believe that my court will be run with integrity, with efficiency, but keeping everybody's rights on the top of the list. It's important for our community to have a judge that has experience, that has the know-how. Our cases are backlogged right now due to the fact that we've gone through a horrible 2-year pandemic, and you need somebody ready to take the helm of that court and to set it right, to start setting cases, to start hearing cases, and to get back on track. And I think that person is me. I have the judicial experience. I have already done the job that I will be doing for County Court Number 1. And that's why I'm asking for your vote for that court. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Bonilla?
Yes, I believe that I have the integrity and experience needed to be a competent judge. I want to ensure that our community remains a safe place for all and to ensure that justice is served. I have served on many different boards and organizations throughout our community, so I feel that my leadership and experience will guide me to make knowledgeable decisions. I have worked a great majority of criminal and civil cases in my career. And at the end of the day, I believe we just need a judge in County Court 1 who's going to be fair, uphold the law, and ensure that justice is served. I pledge to be prepared to preside over matters and to be efficient in doing so. There's a huge backlog right now that we need to take care of. And I think, by doing hearings on Zoom and just being more efficient with remote resources, I believe that we can get back on track. If elected, I will continue to provide the excellent service that Judge Vargas has provided and to keep the court moving effectively and efficiently. I ask for your support and I ask for your vote. Thank you so much for your time and for having this today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, candidates for County Court at Law Number 1 for participating in this forum, and we will see you at the ballot box.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you.
And So, good evening, Miss Claridge Montoya. You appear to be our only candidate for this this race. I heard from Jag. He said he was at another function, and Mr. Garza has not gotten back to me, or at least he hasn't popped on yet. So, since the League of Women Voters has a no empty chair policy, what we'll do is we'll afford you 3 minutes to introduce yourself to the public, and I will not ask any questions. So that's just the way we do that. All right,
Okay.
and our timekeeper, can you see our timekeeper on your screen? Timekeeper, I think you need to put your self back on screen. There we go, timekeeper. So he will give you time. Okay, so setting the time for 3 minutes.
Okay, we're ready to go.
Yep, ready to go.
Well, my name is Selina Claridge Montoya, and I am running for Nueces County Commissioner Precinct 2. I've been a lifelong resident of Corpus Christi, graduated from Ray High School. I've been an insurance agent for the last 22 years. And I call myself a professional volunteer because of all the organizations that I've been involved with over the last 20, 30 years. And I'm always just doing everything I can to just help whoever I can. But I've been involved with the Democratic Party. A lot of people know me. I've been around for quite some time. I'm your former senatorial district executive committee representative. And I decided to get into the political arena in this particular race because I feel that you should have a choice on who you want to vote for. And in light of the redistricting, I just decided that I feel I'm a good choice for that. My platform is basically going to be based on, of course, the drainage and infrastructure all throughout the city, of course, but mostly in the rural areas, and healthcare, working for emergency management to promote, better emergency management, working to help small business owners. And I feel that I'm a good candidate for this because what I do in my job as an insurance agent, I work with the Medicare Advantage plans, and I go to a lot of people's homes and I see what their needs are. And that kind of coincides with what I would be doing as a commissioner. So I would work to help, fight violent crime, support public health for our community. There's just so much that I want to do, and I'm a strong advocate. I would advocate for the dollars that are coming in from the state of Texas. I would have that ability to advocate for all those millions of dollars to bring into the Nueces County area. So my name is Selina Claridge Montoya. I'm asking for your vote. Again, my main priorities are going to be drainage, healthcare, emergency management, and then of course, education goes along with all of that. And I really appreciate, I thank you guys for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you guys, for allowing me the opportunity, even though there's nobody else there. I do want to add to keep in your prayers, Gerald Garza. He did have open heart surgery on Monday, and I'm pretty sure that's why he's not on here tonight. But I did reach out to him, and they reached out to me. He's in recovery, he's doing well, but keep him in your prayers as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Good to know. All right, so that concludes this portion of the candidate forum for you, and we will see you at the ballot box. Thank you very much. We are. Excellent. Okay, so we are our candidates for Nueces County Democratic Party Chair are Ms. Becky Muller and Mr. Renee Saines. Please make sure that you are unmuted when we're going to start. We will have, you will each have an opportunity to have a 2-minute opening statement. Then we'll take turns answering questions with a 1-minute response and a 1-minute closing statement. And can you see Steve, our timekeeper, on your screen? He will let you know how much time you have remaining. All right. So let's get started with an opening statement from Ms. Muller.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having the forum this evening and allowing us to participate in the forum and let you know what's on our minds. My goals include educating voters on the massive legislative changes in the last couple of sessions of the Texas legislature in Austin, and to make voting a community passion, a positive community passion to vote. It needs to be part of our culture to vote. The number of changes in the laws across this country is troubling. It's very troubling. And we need to band together as Democrats to voice our mutual concern for the erosion of the rights of the voters across the country, and particularly in this state, and the suppression of entire groups of voters through voter suppression. Vote by mail should not carry a stigma with it. However, it does now because of some opposition that has popped up. Vote by mail has been used for years by both parties and without issues, and suddenly there's a stigma attached to it. It's been difficult to navigate the process for many folks trying to vote by mail. Voting, like jury duty, in my opinion, is your obligation. It's your civil obligation. It warms my heart, though, to see that the young voters, the youth, are taking a more active part in engaging in the elections this year. I applaud them for doing that. I'm proud to have been instrumental in incubating the Del Mar Democratic Club and the Texas A&M Corpus Christi Democratic Club. And then, you know what happened. COVID came and classes were no longer held in person. I'm in this race because I cannot stand by and do nothing. I realize an activist can't really retire. You have to keep working. So that's why I'm in. My time is up, but I can't retire when injustices are served up. Thank you for your time.
For that statement, Mr. For an opening statement.
Thank you for hosting this event. I think it is very good to do this for over 20 years when I saw South Texas politics live on TV for many, many years, bringing candidates come the issues. Of course, then it could get pretty heated and a lot of fun to watch and observe, but you become an educated voter and you're doing exactly that. My name is Rene Saenz. I am a local native of Corpus Christi, Texas. I'm a father of 5. I'm married to Stephanie Guerrero Saenz, who I've been married to for 22 years. And I'm a graduate of UT Austin with a degree in political science and public administration. I got my teacher certification at TAMU-CC. I'm a former delegate to the Democratic National Convention. I was a Hillary delegate in 2016 and a 2020. Okay, I currently sit on the board of directors of the Crime Control and Prevention District and committee. That's really, really important because I am an educator. So I get to help make or really try to influence some of the policy decisions on our healthcare insurance. I'm a former member of the Texas Democratic Party, where I've done that about 3 different times. It's a lot of fun to be able to sit there and to be there for about 12 hours trying to hammer out a Democratic Party. I want to be your party chair because I think that we need different people to come into the process. Not that we should exclude other people. We need to add more people into the process because I think we got a lot of talent. Utilize that talent, but we won't be able to utilize them if we're not going to open that door. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And Mr. Saenz, you'll be first up for our first question. Which public servants, past or present, serve as your role models and why?
Well, when I think of the people, I think of, number one, I think of Lincoln. Okay, if you're going to go back very, very far, a long time ago, making these tough decisions, and I know he's a Republican, but honestly, he would be a Democrat today. Lincoln would be a Democrat today. He's one of those. LBJ is another one. I like both of them because they push massive, big legislative issues. Okay, and it's important. Another one that I think is very, very important, and this is one that I actually was first voted for, and he gets a lot of scrutiny, is Bill Clinton. I was 18 years old when I decided to vote for him. I was a young person in college. got married during that time frame. I had kids. So his policies impacted me a lot, and it really benefited me as I went student. And so I like those three specific individuals.
Thank you so much.
My very first election was the election of Sissy Farenthold for state representative way back in the day. And she, I think, was a role model for us until her most recent passing. For many, many women, she was a role model and a politician of great respect. Another one was Ann Richards, and she was only a one-term governor. However, one of her campaign promises was she was going to have her appointments look like the state of Texas, women, minorities, blacks, browns, everything. And she did that. She was able to make her appointments look like the state of Texas. I was one of her appointments. I was the boxing commissioner. Did you know that? I was the chair of the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations, and we oversaw boxing. So those are two of my favorite women elected officials. Still have my saxophone t-shirt, and I wear it from time to time. So that's two women and one male that I really admire and looked up to.
Thank you so much. Okay, Ms. Mueller, you're first for the next question. Part of the League's mission is to educate voters. Who or what are some of your trusted sources of information and why?
Some of my trusted sources, of course, first and foremost, might be the Texas Democratic Party. I think that they're a trusted partner. The news media, I still have a respect for the news media. I read the newspaper. I'm an advocate for reading and for watching the news. And human nature. I see what happens with human nature. I have been a volunteer at the Nueces County Democratic Party almost since the day I retired in Austin and moved back to Corpus, my home. And I'm a student of human nature. They drop by the Democratic Party to either pick up material, pick up signs, complain. And I listen to the voters quite often on what they think is important. And I listen to the politicians on what they intend to do. So any number of sources.
Thank you so much. Mr. Sines?
Can you ask the question once more, please?
Sure. Part of the League's mission is to educate voters. Who or what are some of your trusted sources of information and why?
Okay, let me be very direct with you. Okay, the trusted sources of information is the program that I used to do. And we're still going to do it. We just haven't done it. It's called South Texas Politics. And we would host events like this. We would bring candidates to come on and we would be able to question them. In fact, when I made my decisions to vote for this candidate or that candidate, it was that specific show that I would be able not only to ask the questions, but decide on who I wanted to vote for based on how they answered those questions. So for me, that was probably one of the most reliable sources because I was. Another source that I look to, I agree with Becky with the Texas Democratic Party. I got a pretty good relationship with Gilberto Hinojosa, the chair right now. Also my wife and her other SDC partner, Patrick Ironini, because if I need information from the state level, those are the two sources I go to. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Sines, you will be first up for the last question. If elected, what would you do to increase voter turnout, especially in midterm elections?
Oh, those are always a challenge. Midterm elections will always see a reduction in. You're going to have to be very creative on how you go do the GOTV. You got to go directly to voters. I don't think that we've done as good as a job as in the past when I started to get into politics by going door to door, doing GOTV, get out the votes. One of the systems I remember was something that Carlos Duran did, created the block captain system. Street by street, you always had a representative that would go down that street and would talk to the voters and get those voters out to the polls. I think we need to get much better organized and do things that they did very successfully in the past. The block captain system, because at that point in time, that's when the Democratic Party dominated. And we got to go back to some of those older systems because they worked, and I think they'll work today. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Mueller?
Well, I think we need to do a combination of what we've done in the past, but I think we also must look to the future for new ideas. Our local party, I have some training scheduled with the Texas Democratic Party to talk about texting as a party, because some of our candidates do that now, but as a party, we need to do that. I do believe that our block walking, door-to-door campaigning, using the van, the voter activation system that the party has, helps us to identify our targets and helps us to visit with folks who care about things that we care about as we're doing block walking and phone banking and in the future party texting. So I think it's a combination of old and new. You don't throw out the baby with the bathtub, but you also need to progress and do new things as well. So a combination of what we've done and what we need to do will be my goal as your chair.
Thank you. Our statement portion of this forum, Ms. Mueller, you have 1 minute.
Well, my name again is Becky Moeller, and I'm running for Nueces County Democratic Party Chair. I urge you to vote early, February 14th through February 25th, or on Election Day, March 1st. I urge you to vote for me. I want to bring progress to our community. I think we need to work as a region, serve you well when elected to be your Democratic Party Chair. Thank you again for the opportunity tonight to join this forum.
Thank you so much.
Once again, thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this event. This is very important for the candidates as an outlet to be able to speak out and for the public to become educated on all the candidates who are running for office, because that's what we need, an informed and educated public. The Nueces County Democratic Party Chair. I pledge to you today that if I am unsuccessful in this race and Becky Mueller were to win, I pledge to put 110% behind. United, we are stronger together. It's a saying that that Hillary Clinton once made. That's one woman that I admire a lot, because I grew up with her watching politics. We got other people, big races that we got to get taken care of. And through that unity and being united, we can go and we can win in November and make sure that Beto wins up at the top and many of our local county races that they win as well. So appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And thank you, candidates, for Nueces County Democratic Party Chair for participating in this forum. You're free to pop off now, and I'm just going to do a wrap up. So go ahead and pop off, and we will see you at the ballot box. And we'll, Ms. Anel, and I'll just finish up the closing statement. Okay. So in closing, thank you, Catherine Oler, President, Anel Neal, Zoom Facilitator, and Stephen Schultz, Timekeeper. The League of Women Voters of Corpus Christi appreciates these candidates, not only for their belief in the democratic process that we enjoy in our nation, but also for their commitment to public service and the sacrifices they have made to participate in the campaign process. Be sure to check out the League's online voters guide, vote411.org. By entering your address, the Vote 411 website will produce an electronic My Ballot for your specific address that shows all the races and candidates you will see on your 2022 Democratic Party primary election ballot. Printed copies of English and Spanish state election voter guides provided by the League of Women Voters of Texas, and a 24-page guide to local races compiled by the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi will be distributed this coming weekend. For locations, please visit the League of Women Voters of Corpus Christi website at LWV-CCTX.clubexpress.com. Remember, early voting starts Monday, February 14. The Corpus Christi League of Women Voters website also contains up-to-date election information, including early voting locations. And as a reminder, recordings of this event may not be used without the express written approval of the League. The League will only allow audio or video of this event to be broadcast in its entirety, except by the media reporting on the event. On behalf of Catherine Oler, President of the League of Women Voters, the Corpus Christi, as well as all members of the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi, thank you for watching this Democratic Party primary election candidate forums, and we will see you at the ballot box.